Dunkirk. Directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Fionn Whitehead, Tom Hardy, Mark Rylance, and Harry Styles, Dunkirk is a thriller set in World War II. It is a true story about the rescue mission at Dunkirk to save tons of British troops on the beach of Dunkirk and get them home. And it is a thrilling, exciting movie. I'm going to talk about it more, so be prepared. Little disclaimer, Christopher Nolan is my favorite film director out there. I love every single one of his movies. Well, I don't love every single one of his movies, but I think every single one of his movies is really good, and I love most of them. So going into Dunkirk, I had high expectations, and were they met? Yeah, pretty much. Now let's talk about why. This movie is thrilling. I mean, it is tense the entire time. Your stomach is in a knot the entirety of the movie, and I mean, it's from the opening scene of the movie, you get the idea of just how tense this movie's going to be, and it gets more tense the opening scene. The opening scene is a great scene, and war is scary. Also, the acting in Dunkirk was, of course, excellent. I've never seen a badly acted movie that Christopher Nolan's ever made. Even his first movie, Following, where he didn't have that great of actors in it and didn't have a budget for anything, even that was still pretty well acted for the circumstances he was put in. And in this movie, the acting's great all the way around. Tom Hardy plays this fighter pilot. Great. Tom Hardy happens to be my favorite actor right now, so I was glad to see him. Mark Rylance, really good. Cillian Murphy, great. All the side performances are really good. Fionn Whitehead, who's kind of the lead of this, really, really good. I'd never seen him before. He's really good. And Harry Styles. Harry Styles was really good in this movie. Like, he had a lot of personality, and the guy's talented. You know, I was never into One Direction or any of that, but I gotta say, he's talented. And, you know, I'm glad he was in this movie. Whenever he was cast, I was like, yeah, I don't think Christopher Nolan's going to cast celebrity because he likes him a whole lot and is a big fan of his music. No, because Christopher Nolan is, you know, he's a good director. And so he's not going to be an idiot. And he wasn't. Harry Styles was a good choice for this movie. Totally fit in. Really good performance. And maybe I will check out his music. No, I won't. The musical score in this movie wasn't like, you know, as epic as a lot of Christopher Nolan's other movies. As far as it's not like, you know, super inspiring. It's not like the Batman theme where it's just you recognize it. You know, it's not going to be like one of those scores, but it perfectly fit this movie. The score in this movie really made the entire ride very tense, very frightening, and I was a fan. The cinematography in this movie is great. The action is really thrilling. It's tense. It's brutal in some ways, but it's not rated R. That's what's really interesting about this movie. It's a war movie, but it's PG-13, and I'm glad it was PG-13. It didn't need to be rated R. They didn't need to splash blood or anything. But I mean, really very tense battle scenes. Those planes, the German fighter pilots, when you hear them coming, it gets really tense. It gets really scary in this movie, and I mean, war is scary. I already said that. And I also liked the story of the movie. It wasn't like, this movie was a bit of a different Christopher Nolan movie in that, like, the story and the characters weren't necessarily like the main focus of the movie. The main focus of the movie was the situation, and you just kind of follow these different characters in these different situations, and it all weaves together to be this one really good movie. And I really liked it. It was very different. I mean, yeah, it all came together. There's no like characters that I was like particularly attached to, but the characters that were in it were great vessels for me to follow, and I think that was what Christopher Nolan was going for, and I'm glad he went for it. And now for the cons. I've just got a few problems with this movie. One of them would be the timeline was a little unconventional, as a lot of Christopher Nolan movies are. I mean, Memento is literally backwards. If you haven't seen Memento, you need to see Memento, because Memento. But yeah, the timeline in this movie was oddly structured, and it kind of had me a little confused in some scenes. I just need to see the movie again. I'm sure I'll understand it all, but it was a little weird, a little confusing, a little hard to grasp at times. But really, I mean, it wasn't like a big detractor from the movie, but it did kind of annoy me. And the only other problem I had with Dunkirk is probably, I just felt like the movie wasn't as long as it should have been. I felt like the movie's only like an hour and 45 minutes, and I felt like it should have been like 30 minutes longer, or like 20, 30 minutes longer, something like that. It just whenever it ends, I was like, oh, I thought it was going to go on for longer. It was a really short movie for a Christopher Nolan movie, and I think it would have benefited from being a little bit longer. But still, the climax of the movie is very exciting. I just thought the exciting stuff would go on for a little bit longer. But still, very good, enjoyable ride. Dunkirk gets an A. So tell me, have you seen Dunkirk? If so, please comment below and tell me what you thought of it. And as always, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and be thankful that Nazi Germany did not take over the world.